Hi everyone, I'm MaryAnn. I'm a voice coach and visual artist from Singapore, currently in Singapore, and welcome to another installment of my weekly vlog series, Find Your Voice. So this is where I share whatever I'm learning in my journey as a singer, as a voice coach, as a singing instructor, as a person who is all about pursuing something worthy and meaningful for myself in my life, pursuing my passion, going after my dreams, and ultimately discovering what my capital V voice is, which is what I believe every single one of us is here to do. Discover what our capital V voice is, which is whatever it is that you want to express over the course of your entire life. Like, the life that you have, you are the only person who can live it in the best possible way. And at the end of this life, when you look back, you would see this amazing masterpiece, which is kind of like, the thing that you are meant to express and the thing you truly want to express over the course of your life, like in how you live it, the things that you pursue, what really matters to you, what resonates with you, like all of these things are intricately tied to who we are, and working on our physical voice allows us to bridge that gap as well and work on finding that capital V voice, because ultimately it is all a part of you anyway. But yes, your physical voice is your most direct means of expression, and so when we work on that, it definitely has a lot of spillover effects into other areas of your life as well. And I guess this is what this whole blog series is really about. I want to shed some light on how working on your voice is also about working on your life, how that is interrelated. And yeah, so if you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the comments, or you can also directly message me through any one of my links which you see in the write-ups attached to these videos. So earlier today I went on Facebook and I was reminded of a memory from years ago where I painted a mural in Vilnius, Lithuania, as part of my series to paint 100 murals around the world. So far I've done 8, and that particular mural that I was reminded of today was number 5, and it actually wasn't supposed to happen. It wasn't part of my plan when I went to Europe in 2019, but through a series of coincidences, I managed to secure an opportunity to paint in that location. And that reminded me of a quote by Paulo Coelho from his book The Alchemist, which is like one of my favorite books of all time. And that quote goes, I'm reading my laptop because I can't memorize to save my life. It goes, when you want something, all the universe conspires in helping you to achieve it. If you really want something in your life, whether it's to express yourself better, whether it's to sing better, to be a singer, to be a performer, to be a leader at work, to be someone who is outspoken and outgoing and more charismatic, more confident, all of these things, like a public speaker, like if this is something that you really want, or anything really, then it's really important to start taking action towards that goal and that dream of yours. I think what this quote is saying is not so much that when you want something, then things will just magically fall into place, but it's more like when you really want something and when you want it with all your being, and then you actually take action to do it, and you to the extent of like eating, living, breathing, whatever that thing is, then things would start to fall into place. Like if, let's say, you want to improve your ability to speak in front of an audience, then how are you creating those opportunities for yourself to actually speak up more in front of groups of people? Or if you want to be a better singer, then how often are you really practicing, doing your voice practices? Are you also looking for opportunities to showcase yourself, to go for competitions, things like that? So it's really more about taking the direct action that would get you closer to that goal, or taking up opportunities that will allow you to overcome whatever your internal barriers are towards expression, such that, who knows, right, when you actually start taking action in the direction of where you want to go, something could actually unfold and things could actually fall into place. So in terms of the voice and expression and performance, I was reminded of how I became an actress in Singapore in my early 20s, and I was an actress for about a year and a half. So to give you a little bit of a backstory, I'm actually a very shy person. I'm very nervous around strangers, and I'm definitely nervous in front of big groups of people. Every time there's some sort of gathering where there's like a lot of people, I would not want to speak up in front of them. I would want to just hide somewhere and like blend into the background and not have anyone notice me, basically. Ask anybody in my family, nobody would say that I'm like an outspoken, charismatic, talkative person. Everyone would say I'm very shy, you know, quiet, and to the point that, you know, even when I met my secondary school teacher, like 20 years ever since, you know, we last saw her, she didn't even remember me. Okay, she remembered all my other ex-classmates who were there meeting her, and she did not remember me. Like, that's how forgettable I was. Maybe I still am, I don't know. But anyway, being an actor is something that I always had a secret passion for and always had a secret longing for. But because I was shy, introverted, awkward, nobody really saw me as a leader, as someone who was outspoken. I was never given those opportunities. And then when I was a teenager and I tried to start going for such opportunities, like I auditioned for my school choir, I auditioned for a school play, and then in university I even auditioned for a musical, and I basically bombed all of these auditions because of my shyness and awkwardness and performance anxiety, and obviously I didn't get the part. And even though intellectually I knew that was why I didn't get the part, there was also another part of me that was like, oh, you know, you're not just meant to be an actor. I mean, my idea of actors at that time was, you know, whatever you see in a Hollywood movie, right? And, you know, whatever you see in those celebrity magazines, I guess, where they always look so polished and glamorous and beautiful. And I look at myself in the mirror. I mean, I still kind of look the same as I do in my teenage years, but I think somehow I look more dorky then for some reason. Anyway, yeah, I would look at pictures of these celebrities and be like, oh, I could never be like them. So, you know, being an actor was this secret dream that I had. And it wasn't until I went to university in Singapore, and it was after I bombed that audition for the school musical, I happened to, you know, start hanging out with a group of people, and one of them in that group, he was a independent filmmaker. Well, he still is, but, you know, we're not really friends now. I mean, you know, lost touch over the years. But anyway, he was dating this actress at that time, and after a while she also started coming to our gatherings. And I remember when I first met her, I didn't know how to behave around her because, you know, in my mind actors are like, whoa, you know, way like over, you know, way out of reach of us normal mortal human beings. So anyway, I met her, and over time as we hung out more, and I you know, talked to her more, and then I hear her talk about being on set and what it's like. I hear my filmmaker friend talk about being on set and what it's like. And the more I hear their stories, the more it just sounded like these are just everyday normal people who are just doing what they love. And, you know, maybe acting isn't really all that out of my reach after all. Maybe, you know, it is something I could actually do if I really wanted to. And so my dream of being an actress started to come back to me again. And one day, I decided that, you know what, it's now or never. Like, I'm just gonna pluck up the courage and to ask my new actress friend, like, how to go about being an actress. And it was so scary because it was at a group setting, and I don't do well in, you know, speaking in front of like a whole group of people, right? And especially something as, you know, vulnerable as my secret dream to be an actress. But I decided that, you know what, just put all that aside and just tell her, I'm thinking of being an actress, or at least trying it out. How do I go about doing that? And the moment I said that, it's out there, it's like, whew. And she was just so excited to hear that. She's like, oh wow, you know, I didn't know that you were actually interested. Well, there's actually an audition tomorrow for a short film. Do you want to go with me and audition for one of the parts? And I was like, for reals? Like, it's like, literally, I did not expect that. Like, if I had not opened my mouth that night, I would have missed that opportunity, basically. So I said yes, and then the next day, I went with her to this audition, and I auditioned for the lead role and I think a couple of other minor speaking roles. And I got cast in one of the minor speaking roles. So it was my very first speaking role in a short film, an independent short film. And, you know, I had like 3 lines or something. And that was also the first time that I learned how to do a massage properly, because I was like a masseuse in this role. And I basically did not know how to do a massage. And the very hot actor that I was massaging, he was just like telling me how to do it. It was so embarrassing and it was so awkward. But at the same time, it was so exciting, because that was my very first time being on set. My very first experience of what being an actress is really like. And if I had never told my friend about, you know, this secret dream that I had, I would never have gone to this audition. And after that, of course, no, it doesn't just end there, right? And then I had to begin the whole process of going to more auditions, of learning how to find such auditions, of getting in touch with people who are part of the industry, getting to know of other auditions, going for more acting things that I could. And I tried out many different kinds of roles. I auditioned for like student films, for like professional films, for TV shows, for plays, and eventually I ended up auditioning again for a musical, and this time it was like an official musical with like a local, musical theater production company. And I bombed the audition as usual. For some reason, every time I have to sing at auditions, it's just like, the most terrifying thing. So I bombed it as well, but it was not as bad as like, my very first singing audition when I auditioned for the choir in secondary school. And anyway, I thought that was it, I wouldn't get the part, and the next thing I know, I got called to be part of the ensemble for this musical, and that was how I got my biggest role in musical theatre to date, which is, as an ensemble cast in that musical. Yeah, and it was a whole different kind of experience working with a stage production, and it was insane, and it was fun, and it was so exciting, and it was so scary, and it really brought up a lot of things in me, but but I guess what I'm saying overall is that, if there's something that you really want, if you want to improve your expression, if you want to be more outspoken, if you want to be a singer, if you want to be a performer, like find opportunities for you to be able to do those things. Like it doesn't have to be a big thing, and you'll probably start small somewhere. But the key thing is that if you really want it badly, you have to start taking action towards making something happen. And it's only when you really want it, you start taking action, somehow things would fall into place, somehow things would line up. And if you never take that first step, if you never allowed yourself to even just try to do this thing that you really want, then you're not going to know where it's going to lead. So if I had never told my friend that I wanted to be an actress, I wouldn't have gone for that audition. I may not even have started that whole process of auditioning and, going through the experience of being an actress here in Singapore. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the comments, and you can also message me through any one of my links which are in the write-ups with this video, and subscribe to my channel if you have enjoyed today's video, and I'll see you next week.